that just came to glorify the Lord on this morning?
Yeah.
Come on, if you came to praise God, get ready to get my hands up and praise God. Come on, lift up His name, lift up His name. Tell the Lord what you need. There's no need to tell Him what you want. You tell Him what you need, and He'll give you the desires of your heart. First off, I would like to give honor to the author and finisher of our faith, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Secondly, to Pastor Herbert and First Lady for allowing us to just continue to worship Him whenever we do come. You know, and I thank God for each and every one of you for pressing your way out on this morning. You may be seated. You may be seated. You may be seated. Thank God for each and every one of you for pressing your way out on this morning. You know, my mom always raised us to be as respectful as possible. So, I've already given honor to God. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Pastor Herbert, would you mind if I be a little transparent in your pulpit this morning? Yes, sir. Amen. Yeah, my mom, she's always been a hard lady on us. You know, if we needed a good smack in the head, she'd give it to us. That's why I'm glad I came and sat up front, because if I had told, if she had found out before I was preaching, she probably would have even said, boy, why you didn't tell me? I could have wrote something different. You know, it's just the type of lady she is. I thank God for her, because even when I was at my lowest point doing any and everything, that was still a praying woman. And I thank God for a praying woman. Because without her, I don't think I'll be standing in the capacity that I'm standing in right now. So if you would, she also taught me one thing. She also taught me that you need to pray before you eat. So if y'all are ready to eat, I ask that you would open your Bibles and let's go to Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, and the 1st verse. And once you find it, please stand on your feet and signify by saying, I got it. If you're still looking, just say, wait on me. All right, I think I got a couple wait on me's. If you're around the Psalms area, keep going. But if you made it to Isaiah and Jeremiah, make a U-turn and go back a few miles. Amen. Ecclesiastes 3 and 1. I heard a couple of laughs, so I guess a couple of people know exactly where I'm headed. But before I begin to read, I will say to my mother, since this is your 60th birthday, this sermon is especially prepared for you. But it will go with the church as well, because as I was back there with the pastor listening in on their meetings, there are some things that's happening right now within this ministry. And this sermon is for you, HILLFIELD. So if you're there around Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1, it reads, there is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. You may be seated in the presence of God. Like I said, my mom has always told me to pray before I eat, so if you would, let us bow. Most gracious and all-wise God, before we come before you as humble as we know how. Asking that you just fill us with your Holy Spirit right now, God, and you just let your word go forth and let it heal, set free, and deliver somebody that may be going through something right now in their lives. Most gracious and all-wise God, we just thank you for yet another day to come in and bless up your name. Dear Heavenly Father, we ask all these things in your darling Son, Jesus' name. Amen. 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 Now, I will go ahead and tell you that I can be very animated from time to time, and I am very contemporary. Because I'm not an older gentleman. I'm only 31 years old, so you know some of the stuff that my kids listen to, I still listen to on occasion, just so I know what they're listening to and see where their mind frame is. So if I get a little contemporary, or if I get a little urban or a little street, please just raise your hand and say, "Slow down, preacher." We can bring it all back around. Is that all right? All right. If I had to use anything for a topic or a theme on today, just from this one particular season, I would say that this is my season. So what I would ask that you would do is turn to your person on your left or your right and just tell them that this is my season. It don't matter what I've been going through, but this is my season. This is my season. Now I know that I've only been in the South for a couple of days because I've been out west and up north for a while, and you don't get a lot of growing, and you don't see a lot of farming out that way unless you go way out in west Colorado or somewhere like that. So I know I'm in the right place for this particular sermon. So, because some of you may know what the growing process is. You see, when I was a kid, I remember going to my grandmother's garden, and we would pick greens from time to time, and not knowing, because we were so young, that she was teaching us that entire time. And what she would try to teach us the time while we were out there, she would tell us that we had to make sure to find a good spot, and then we would have to till the ground. Then you gotta plant the turnip before the last frost in the spring. Okay? See, I used to look at her like, what in the world is this woman talking about? I am only 12 years old. I ain't thinking about planting. I ain't thinking about no water. I don't want no seeds. Whatever you talking about as far as planting, I want to be away from that. All right now. Because I'm 12. All I want to do is ride my bike, maybe run out in the sun, jump some ditches, good old country boy stuff. But she would tell us that every time that there is a time and a season for everything to grow. Now not knowing, we out in 95, 100 degree weather, and we picking greens, we itching, and bugs is crawling, and I'm trying to figure out why in the world do you have me out here? But not knowing that she was pruning me for this particular time and this particular season. So I'll throw another story out there. Around Christmas time, around late November, early December, people are getting ready for the Christmas time, and they're getting out all of the decorations and everything like that. And my wife is the type of person to where she has to have a real tree every year. Now, am I thinking I'm a cheap man? I'm a super cheap man. So I would suggest, how about we just go to Walmart, get this $50 tree that's good from now until forever. We can spend $50 for the next 30 years instead of spending $50 every single year. And then she's one of those persons, and I love my wife to death. This is why I love her so much. Because she's one of those people, every single year, her house and her tree has a different color. So that means not only am I buying a tree every year, but I'm buying different decorations and see, I'm a cheap person. You give me a green tree, give me some white balls, I'm good. What we need, the reds and the blues and the greens and the purple, we don't need all, just throw some white. All they're going to do is tear up the presents anyway and throw the paper away. What's the point? But not knowing that everything that she was doing, it had a meaning. There is a season for every, there is a time and a place for every color that I use. See, somebody knows that there is a time and a season that they are in now. Whether you are going through your rough season, whether you are getting to the end of that rough season and you're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, or maybe you are at that point in your season to where you have came through all of your mess and all of your hell, and you're at that point to where you can say, I thank God for bringing me through. So one day I'm actually talking to the Christmas tree guy, and I'm like, look, sir, what's the reason that people buy a Christmas tree every single year? So he broke it down for me. He said the first thing you got to do is you got to find the right spot. You got to find some prime real estate. Now in the spiritual sense, God has already found that perfect spot in each and every one of us because He made us in His image. Okay. See, the next thing that you have to do is you have to break some good ground. Once you found that perfect spot, you got to break that ground up because you can't plant some stuff on some frozen, hard, undisturbed ground. Okay, to all my farmers, and just make sure I'm on the right track. All right. Now, see, if you look in the Old Testament around Hosea chapter 10 and verse 12, it says that sow righteousness for yourselves, reap the fruit of unfailing love, and break up your unplowed ground. For it is time to seek the Lord until He comes. See, God can't take you into your next season if your heart is still hardened and wrapped up in what you may have went through in your past. You can't bask in the blessings that God has for you if you can't get over the pain that's in your past. See, if you're still wrapped up in your lies and your deceit and confusion and frustration and aggravation, see, God has to break all of that stuff up. He has to break up our ground and our hearts and our souls before He can go to work on us. See, you can't expect God to perform some wonders in your life and give you some supernatural favor when you still dealing with jealousy and you still dealing with frustration from past relationships and confusion from old friends. If all of that stuff is still floating around in your heart, see, for us to be some true Christians, some true disciples of God, we have to allow God to come in and work on us. Because God can't do nothing with us if our hearts are still hardened from things in our past. See, we have to plow. He has to plow our hearts so that we can be convicted of all the sins that we've committed. We have to have some type of humility so that that good seed can be sown in our lives. Just by saying hello to somebody could be sowing a good seed into their lives because you don't know what that person went through. See, a lot of people think, oh, my blessing is coming in a monetary value. Right. You know, when someone says that I want to sow a seed into your life, they think of monetary value. But see, we as Christians, we need to get away from that monetary value, because just sowing a good seed in somebody's life could just be telling them have a blessed day. Amen. See, my grandmother used to tell us all the time, be careful how you treat people, because you never know when you may be entertaining an angel. See, we can't expect God to grant us with the supernatural favor that we've been looking for, and all we know how to do is talk bad about folk. Maybe I'm in the wrong section. See, you can't expect God to do something for you if all you can do is put down everybody else. Right. Now, see, some people may be like, I don't talk about people like that. I don't do it. Look at Sister So-and-so shoes. And then over to the left. I know But see, you can't expect God to do something for you if all you doing is putting down the person that God has already made. Just like you can't start a garden on some ground that's dried up, beat up with no nourishment. See, God can't work on us with all of that going on, and that's why he has to break all that stuff up. Now see, if you go on over to the New Testament around Galatians chapter 6, verse 7 and verse 8, it says, do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked.
Yes.
A man reaps what he sows.
Yes.
Whoever sows to please their flesh, from the flesh will they reap destruction.
I see.
Whoever sows to please the Spirit, from the Spirit will reap eternal life. You see, the next thing that we have to do is we have to sow the proper seed. If you sow the seeds of the flesh, then that's exactly what you're going to reap. You can't sow a seed into my life when your heart is all bound up in frustration and aggravation. You can't make me feel better about myself and my current relationship if your relationship is still in turmoil. I come to you for advice, and I turn around and I'm giving you advice for your relationship. I came to you for help. You didn't come to me.
I see, man. I see.
Amen.
You can't sow into my life and you still bound up in everything that you've been dealing with in your past.
That's the word, preach, man.
And see, if we continue to sow that good seed, then that's exactly what we're going to reap when it's time to sow. But if you allow God to come into your life and break up all that bad ground, you can sow the proper seeds of love, of purity, of prosperity, of togetherness, of tenderness and kindness. And you will start to see just how the Lord is growing you.
Amen.
Because I can go ahead and tell you that some of the same people that are sitting in this building with, I was running the streets with. They would never find themselves sitting inside of a sanctuary. Back then. Because we had no differentiation of, well, do I go to church or since it's Sunday, let me run to Jackson and give me a building. Y'all mind if I be a little transparent? Just for a little bit. But see, that's how you know that you are starting to grow. That's how you know that the Lord is starting to move you. Because when I was 19 and 20 years old, you wouldn't find me in a suit shop. You'll probably find me in a pair of 44 size jeans and I'm all at 38. You'll probably find me in some white tennis shoes. Because there was the flyest things back then. You got the Reebok Classics, the Air Force Ones. That's what we rocked. But now you might catch me in a wingtip and a button-down suit. That's how you know that God is growing you to another level. You can't expect God to do some things in your life and you still stuck. And you still stuck in the pain that the man caused you 10 years ago. So how do you expect the man that you have now to grow with you if you still... You can't expect that woman to do the things that your mom did if you still stuck in that 18-year-old mentality. And your mama did everything for you. How do you know that, preacher? Because I was there. Before I got out of my mama's house, I was stuck there because she would tell me, son, it's time to go to work. She would wake me up, son, you late for school. Son, you go pay your car note. Son, you need to go do this, and you need to go. I was stuck, but it took for me to leave my mom's house for me to realize that there are some things that I have to do on my own. You can't move forward if you still stuck in the hell that you've been going through for the past 15, 20, 30, 50 years. You can't. It's hard to maneuver. But once you allow God to step into your life, He'll loosen them things up for you. Just to where you're able to move. And once you really allow God to step into your life, He'll be able to let you walk around a little bit. He might let you dance a little two-step every once in a while. But if you really let God step into your life, He might just let you walk a little bit. He'll let you run and high step just a little bit. But see, it's all in the process. Because if you remember the story from the Bible, where God sent the man to the potter's house, He told him, just go there and watch him. Now, I'm paraphrasing. He said, go there and just watch him. And while he was watching the potter, he was molding. He was molding. He had a little bit of water, had a little bit of heat, and he continued to mold. But once he got to that point where he realized that it's done, but I made a mistake. So let me start over. See, He has to work on us. It's a process. Now, for some people, that Christian walk may come a little bit easy for others. But every once in a while, you have to go through some things for God to say that it's time for you to change. It's time for you to do some things for me instead of doing things of the world. Because when I was in the world, matter of fact, I wasn't in the world. I think I made it. I think I was so hard in it, I think I made it. I think I made it. If y'all don't mind, I'm going to tell you a quick story. And I promise we're going to get back. But I remember a day, I think I may have been around 19, 20 years old. And I had this 1997 Crown Vic. Man, that thing was rough, boy. I'm telling you. 450 big block. Police central. Trainer was on point. Now the body, don't get me wrong, the body was a little messed up. You can see that on the outside. But the engine, that thing was cold, boy. So, I was running through, I think it was the old project one day, and not knowing my surroundings, I just came through there flying. Messed up, locked my engine up, car completely done. About a day later, this young man come knocking on the door. Miss Mary, your son home? She said, yeah, he back there asleep. Now I'm partially asleep. But I get back, but I'm laying down now. And the next person I see that's sitting on the edge of my bed like this. Well, Pastor Herbert, he said, son, let me tell you something. I've been in these streets a whole lot longer. I've been running a whole lot longer. But what I'm going to need you to do is slow down. And he just wasn't talking about my speed. Amen. And when he said that, from that day on, I took a step back. And I reevaluated some things. And I realized that for me to be the man that he is, there is a lot of work that I got to do to myself.
Yes.
But see, what he didn't know was he was performing ministry on me. He was helping to grow me into the person I am today. Because Some of the things that I went through while I was in the military, there's a lot of stuff that I do not remember. But I remember that day so vividly. And I use it on a day-to-day basis that if you have a wife and children of your own, and for you to come to my house, then there must be something special. Either in me or there's something special in you for you to just come see about little old me. But see, I love the way that our God works. Because see, it doesn't matter what you've been through. It doesn't matter where you've been. It doesn't matter where you grew up. It doesn't matter how many parents you have. It doesn't matter what type of school you went to. All you have to do is call on God and He can come and see about you. I promise I'm almost done. If you would, let's go around to the New Testament around John 15, verses 1 through 4. And see this, all of these verses. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. John chapter 15, verse 1. And we're going to read 1 through 4. All of these verses are pertaining to God growing us, God training us. It's just like the growing process. So, John 15, verses 1 through 4 says, I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, He prunes so that it will be even more fruitful. You are already cleaned because of the word I have spoken to you. Remain in me as I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. Go ahead and turn to somebody else and say you got to get cut sometime. Every once in a while, we gotta get cut sometime. Because see, in the growing process is called pruning. This is the process that involves selective removal of parts of a tree or plant. Now, see, the reason gardeners prune is to remove damaged branches off of the tree, bad leaves from the plant, and old roots. It's to make sure that the plant or the tree maintains health, keeps its proper direction of growth, and increase the quality of the plant and the fruit that it produces. Now see, when we get pruned in the spiritual sense, what happens is that some people may get cut out your life. Some family members you may have been holding on to so tight because you don't want to let them go. They may have to get left. They may have to get left behind. Some of your friends that depend on you so much, but they can't depend on themselves, may have to depend on themselves to get through those tough situations that they may be going through. See, I remember some times in my life I used to call home and say, Mom, I'm in need. I need it. Mom, my pockets ain't. All you hear is that slapping. You don't hear no ruffle. And I would call her and say, well, Mama, I need, because, me and Eric and the kids, we got this, that, and the third going on. And usually she would say, well, son, just give me a couple of days and let me see what I can do. Yeah. But one day I happened to call her and she was like, well, well, if I had it, you would have. At this moment, there's nothing I can do you're going to have to figure it out on your own.
Yes, sir. Know what you're talking about.
And you know, at first I was kind of like, so you really not going to... You said I took time out of my day to call you because I need some help and you ain't going.
All right now.
But then I had to realize that your pruning process is my pruning process. Because for you to get cut on, that means I may have to fall to the ground for a minute, but guarantee it's some seed that fell on some good ground, so eventually, I'll begin to grow on my own. I had to learn how to get through some tough times on my own. So I had to sit my wife down, baby. We got problems. I told you I can get a little animated from time to time. We got some issues. We got two options. We either gonna put this account in the hole, or we gonna put this account in the hole. Just so we can make it to the next payday. But see, me not understanding what the Word of God was then, I didn't understand that it was a growing process for my mother, and it was a growing process for me, because my Christian walk is not the same as hers. So every once in a while, you have to cut off some of them things that may be harming you. Some of those family members that can do nothing but beg for money. Some of those friends that don't need nothing but hey, can you take me here? Can you do this? Can you do that? Can we go here? But you ain't shelling out no money. So what I need to do is I need to put a lock on my wallet and tell you that it's either time for you to start growing or it's time for you to grow out of my life. And see, I think the way that I think God works is He places us in certain situations just to see how strong we are. And if we are weak in any area, He can trim us and prune us to make us stronger. That's why I said you got to get cut every once in a while. Now, I never said them cuts wasn't going to hurt. Wrong direction. So what God has to do is He has to trim us around our weak areas so that He can get us growing back into the right direction. And for God to continue to give us good fruit, we have to continue to grow in Him and stop holding on to everything that was holding us down in our past. Just like in the fall season, the majority of the leaves, they fall because they can't go through the winter, but you always see just a few leaves just holding on for dear life because they're just trying to make it to their next season. But see, what we have to realize is that everybody can't go to our spring and our summer seasons with us. Some of them have to fall for a reason. Some of those burdens that are holding us down, they have to fall. They have to fall around us, and they have to watch us continue to grow, because if they don't fall, then that means they are just hindering us from going to our next level. If you would, let's go to Galatians chapter 6. And I promise I'm almost finished. Galatians chapter 6, verse 9 and 10. This is where we have to wait on God to give us our increase. What should I say, man? Galatians chapter 6, verse 9 and read 10. Verse 9 and 10 reads, "Let us not become weary in well-doing, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest. And if we do not give up, therefore, as we have opportunity, let us do good to all people, especially to those who belong to the family of believers. There is also another one that I just love so much that really just drives this point home. 1 Corinthians chapter 3. 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 6 through 9. And it reads, I planted the seed, Apollos watered it, but God has been making it grow. So neither the one who plants nor the one who waters is anything, but only God who makes things grow. The one who plants and the one who waters have but one purpose, and they will each be rewarded according to their own labor. For we are co-workers in God's service. You are God's field and God's building. Now, while I was sitting in the back with Pastor Purdle and listening to everything that you guys got going on, this particular point right here is just for HILLFIELD Missionary Baptist Church. Because I remember when this building, when it was the other way, with the maroon seats, a little bit smaller sanctuary, not as high tech. But I see that God has been working some wonderful things in this church. I remember Miss Connie used to play on the old upright piano. Randall Cheshire was playing on the old organ. Depending on the day, either Tavaki or Takari or get on the drums for a hot second. And I had no clue what this building meant then. Because I would come in, sit on the back row, have a little Game Boy, and 9 times out of 10, I'd be sleeping in about 15 minutes. I'm just being real. But see, God had to continue to grow me. He had to continue to prune me. He had to continue to work in me. He had to continue to do some things in my life. I had to go through some things before I could realize what this building meant. And if I'm not mistaken, and Pastor Purdy and Miss Connie, y'all please correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember the old building used to lean a little bit. Just wanted to make sure the building used to lean a little bit because I think the foundation was a little weak. But see, what God has done now is that God has turned things around at HILLFIELD Missionary Baptist Church. And I am loving what He is doing for you all right now. Because the things that you have been through as a church, the things that you have been through as individuals, God was just growing you to get to your next season. And see, HILLFIELD, I think that now is your season. Because if I'm not mistaken, back then, we couldn't fit but maybe about 75 to 80 people in the old sanctuary. But see, now, looking around, I can see that there is well over 150 that is here right now. And what I heard from the office is that here in about the next 5 years, HILLFIELD, you will be looking for a new sanctuary because you're outgrowing your parking lot. You're outgrowing the inside of your sanctuary. If you need to, feel free to go outside and have a few services on the lawn just so you can continue to bring those people into the house of God. Because as long as you continue to bring those people into the house of God, the more God is going to bless you abundantly. So all you have to do is say, God, this is my season. I have been through too much hell, not for this continue to listen to you and continue to follow you, that this is my season. It don't matter what I may be going through. My children may be acting up, but this is my season. Because see, God blesses from the head down. And if your children are under you the proper way, once you begin to get blessed, your kids will continue to get blessed. And then their kids. And then their kids. So what you have to do, HILLFIELD, is you need to stand on your feet. Give God some praise for what he's done. And tell him that this is my season. I've been to hell and back, but this is my season. I know I may only be a short 60 years old, but this is my season. See, you've allowed me to stay on this earth for 60 years so far. So what I'm asking now, God, is that you give me 60 more. And once I get to that 60 more, I'm still going to be screaming that this is my season. I have been going crazy trying to figure out what my next move is. But this is my season. I may be in need of a new car, but this is my season. I'm in need of a new job. Pastor Porter just said that there's a job fair coming up. This is your season. So whatever you may be dealing with, if there are some things in your life that you need to let go of, if there are some things that you need to be pruned of, if there are some things in your life that you need to be cut off from so that you can continue to grow, now is your time. Give your life to Christ. Or if you're just in the need of a word of prayer, now is the time. Because this is your season. The Bible says that if you name it, you shall claim it. Now I am paraphrasing. But this is your season. This is your season. Whatever you've been looking for, now is your time. This is your season. The blessings that you've been waiting on is now. But what you have to do is you have to allow God to continue to move in your life. You can't expect God to give you a blessing and you sitting at home on your couch. You can't expect God to give you a new car if you don't go out there and look for it. Because the last time I checked, blessings just don't fall out the sky. So if you've been waiting on something, if there's something that you've been longing for, if there's something that has just been on your heart so heavy that either you need to let go or you're waiting to receive, now is your time. This is your season. So if you know that there's something that you've been looking for, please come to the altar and let one of these men of God and women of God please place their hands on you and pray for you so that whatever you've been looking for, whatever you've been needing, now is your time. If you would.
Hallelujah.
There's somebody that's been looking for a breakthrough. There's somebody who's been waiting for a breakthrough. If there is something that you need to be healed, set free, and delivered from, now is your time. This is your season.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. This is a real moment, y'all. I feel the Holy Ghost. He's under anointed. I can feel it. He's under anointed. This is real.